Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted as always to be joined by Danny. We have seen a major upset on the undercard tonight in Philadelphia between KHALIL COE and MANUEL Gallegos. KHALIL COE stopped right at the beginning of the ninth round. Danny, COE kind of seen as a world prospect, was strong favourite to win tonight and to win by stoppage as well. What went wrong?
It's an absolute catastrophe for KHALIL. I think, whilst full credit to Gallegos, which I'm sure we'll come on to, I thought a lot of that was Co's own doing. First two rounds, first round and a half maybe, he was completely dominating the fight behind his jab. At no point in those two rounds did he look like stopping Gallegos, but as I say, was in complete control. And then inexplicably started fighting Gallegos's fight, walking him, attempting to walk him down with his hands up, playing right into his hands, allowing him to get closer, which led to the body shot knockdown, which was in was it the fifth round, fourth or fifth round, which completely changed the fight. Cole then tried to get back to what was having him success in the first two rounds, but because of the damage from that body shot, his legs weren't able to do it. He wasn't able to sustain it. And then it was just all Gallegos there, really. I think I gave Cole one of the rounds after the first knockdown. And yeah, it was completely dominated, completely exhausted. And I think, I'm not sure if this is a separate point, should have been pulled out before the ninth round. I'm not sure what the point in sending him out for that was. The cornerman said, I want to stop it. Do you want me to stop this fight? And it took about 10, 15 seconds for him to tell you, oh, as all fighters do, oh, I want to carry on. Stevie Wonder could have told you he didn't want to be in there. The ref, just terrible, terrible corner work and a terrible night for Khalid Cole.
Yeah, he'd obviously been down a couple of times, was kind of had taken a beating. I don't think I've ever seen a fight get stopped so early in a round either. It was a strange one because the round nine started, and then it was just a continuation of the past couple of rounds. And then I think 10, what was it, 10 seconds, 11, 12 seconds into that round, the referee said, no, no, no more, that's it. Um, do want to give credit to Gallegos. I think it's always a shame when there's a shock and people focus on the loser rather than the winner. But yeah, look, he's clearly not a bad fighter in his own right. Was it 18 stoppages and 21 wins now with two stoppages? Got stopped in the four rounds by Diego Pacheco in his last fight, but yeah, massive win for him. What do you think we could see? Khalil Cole is obviously kind of a massive prospect, massive favorite here, Danny. But do you think we will see these two go at it again? Do you think that's a possibility, or do you think Cole will avoid that rematch?
Right away, I can't see that fight happening. I mean, it's going to be a tough rebuild for Khalil Coe. It's a really sickening loss because he had that draw early in his career and a couple of underwhelming performances. But I think in his last three or four fights, people have been really impressed and really start to believe in him. And this is just feels like it's undone a lot of that good work. Obviously, he's still relatively young, so I mean, you're not writing his obituary just yet. But as I say, I don't think this rematch will be straight away. Just as you say, full credit to Gallegos. You mentioned the fourth round stoppage, Diego Pacheco, but he was in that fight. He was having a lot of success
Yeah.
against Diego Pacheco and just got caught with a sickening body shot. And I picked Khalil Cole to win this fight, as I'm sure most people did. But if you're putting your fighter in with Gallegos, you better be 100% sure on them because he's fit as a fiddle. He's got mate, he Khalil Cole, who's a big, big puncher. You can say what you want about him. He clearly can punch. He got hit clean on the chin multiple times and at no point looked hurt upstairs. Uh, as I say, and he came to win. And for a fighter like him, who you imagine boxing's not as his full time living or anything close to it, that's a massive win. And hopefully he gets another big fight on the back of it because he deserves it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, look, fingers crossed. I'm sure. Look, there's you would hope DAZN, Matchroom, Medihone would look at Gallegos and think, right, this is an entertaining fight. Let's kind of have him back. They've got plenty of light heavyweights in their stable who he could possibly fight in the future. But we will see. going back to the fight, Danny, even after the first knockdown, did you think Khalil is going to actually going to go on and lose this fight? How badly in trouble did you think he was? Obviously, by the time it kind of got to the second knockdown, it looked like a real sh a real shit show rather than a minor one. But when that first knockdown happened, were you extremely worried then, or did you think he was gonna overcome the problems?
When it became clear to me that it wasn't going to get any easier, and when I started believing that Gallegos was win the fight, then it was well, pointed out on commentary in the round after that, and essentially any time he wasn't getting battered by Gallegos, that right hand, that right elbow was glued to the side of his body. I mean, that body shot clearly not only fatigued him, as you often see with body shots, but he was clearly still in pain from it. And from then on, for me, like obviously, I'm not saying he should have been pulled out at that stage or anything like it, but that at no point did I think that he's going to come back and win this fight, because even though he was still having sort of fleeting moments of success with eye-catching shots, as I alluded to earlier, they were having even less effect than they were on Gallegos in the early stages. And the momentum was, all with Gallegos, who was the fitter man as well, it looked to me. So yeah, the writing was on the wall in the round, the minutes that followed the body shot.
Yeah, and Gallegos, look, I think he clearly came to win tonight as well. Like if you kind of look at the odds and what people were saying, it looked like a Khalil win was set on, and I think it's good to have moments like this and fights like this because a lot of these cards, they can be quite one-sided. You've got the names on the card, but you don't have competitive fights, whereas this was a competitive fight and an upset. How Khalil 28 years old now, his first loss, only his 11th fight tonight, which is crazy to think for someone who's been spoken so highly, Danny. How can he come back from this and still be the prospect he was expected to be, and how difficult is that going to be to do?
It would be very brave to bet on him winning a world title at light heavyweight based off, what we've seen there. Like Gallegos has got an impressive knockout ratio on his record and clearly can punch a bit. But if you look at the level most of those knockouts have come at, it's not necessarily the highest bar KHALIL. So, if you're getting hurt as badly as KHALIL was by him, be it to the body, obviously anyone can hurt to the body, like even the sort of second rate light heavyweights, the B level light heavyweights, like I know like Joshua Buatsi would have stopped Khalil like without a doubt. I don't think there's any version of Khalil that wouldn't get stopped by what we're seeing now, the best version of Joshua Buatsi, even with a year and a half's development. I don't see that happening. David Benavidez, looks like he's going to be campaigning at light heavyweight. He's 2 years younger than Khalil, or a year younger than Khalil. I mean, what happens in that fight? You'll punch holes in him. I mean, less talented fighters have for sure won world titles, and you know, I would never doubt that there is a route he could be navigated if a really weak champion appeared or a vacant title, but he's never going to be, a top dog in the division. Like, I mean, you hate to say it, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, because I feel like I always often talk about age in these videos with you, Danny, but that's why if Kililko was 5 years younger, I'd be saying to you, look, he's 23, he can improve, he can get better, he's got time. But at 28, you're not a young fighter anymore.
It's your
Boxing's
prime.
on sports, yeah, exactly. So that's the worry there. Whereas I know this might be a silly comparison to some, we were talking about Campbell Hatton a couple of weeks ago. Campbell Hatton, not the level of Kililko, but 23 years old. So I've just got faith that he can improve and win more than an area title, basically. Whereas if Campbell Hatton was 28, I'd be saying it's not going to get better for him most likely. But we'll see. We'll see. Big shock tonight's kept us awake in the early hours. Danny, thank you for your time as always, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Thanks, mate.